Hi, everyone. Welcome so much. Thank you for joining us. Just give us a few minutes for everybody to jump onto the webinar and we will begin momentarily. Thanks for joining. We're going to wait just a few more moments and we will start shortly. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our second webinar of the semester. It's our Online Success Series Part 2, Your Mental Health Matters. My name is Janessa Guzman, and I'm a success coach here at FIU Online. And my co-host for the evening is my colleague, Shaquesta Scott, who's also a success coach.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome.
So before we begin the webinar, I just want to mention some general information about the webinar. It is being recorded and we'll be sharing it with you through your FIU email account shortly after the webinar ends. There's also a Q&A feature below. We have an awesome team of success coaches that are working behind the scenes to answer any questions you may have. Just remember not to share any personal information just because all the other participants can see your questions. So if you do have any personal questions, our contact information will be shared throughout the presentation. Feel free to reach out and we'll make sure that we address your question then. And then lastly, we'll be sharing a brief survey at the end of the presentation. It's very short and sweet, less than a minute to complete. So please be on the lookout for that because your feedback is important to us. Next slide, Jackie. So we're very excited for you that you're joining us tonight. We do have a huge network here at FIU. So just some really quick stats in case this is your first time attending the webinar. We have about 35,000 students here at FIU that take at least one online class and about 7,500 that are fully online students, just like you. And our main goal as your success team is really to make sure that you have what you need to be successful throughout your journey here at FIU and basically to get you to graduation. We're very focused on your success, and our team is here to ensure that you have the resources you need just to improve your overall experience. So really quick, just to learn a little bit about everyone who's here, we're going to do a quick poll, and we would love to know, where is everybody joining us from? All right. All right, about 2, 3 more seconds and we'll end the poll. Very cool. So mainly East Coast, but we definitely have some Central, and that's really what FIU Online is about. It's about having students from all over taking classes together. So that's great. Awesome. So next slide, Jackie. So some of you may be wondering exactly what a success coach is, and don't worry, we get that question often, and I definitely want to make sure you get to know us a little bit better. Every student in a fully online program here at FIU is assigned a success coach, and we're basically a team dedicated to making sure you succeed both inside and out of the classroom setting. We approach this in a very holistic manner, and we help you come up with game plans to reach your goals, no matter how big or small, whether they're academic, career, you name it, we're your support system. If you haven't noticed already, we do send out a lot of emails and Canvas notifications regarding important information, but we do also call and have very meaningful conversations with our students in many different focus areas where we provide tips on how to succeed in those areas like managing commitments, time management, academics, and most importantly, in the times that we're living in, really health and support. We also connect you to the many university resources that are available here, and we have a lot. And that's part of what we do here. Next slide. So here are the faces to the names that you may or may have not seen already. This is part of our lovely success coach team. If you have not met your success coach yet, I definitely encourage you to make an appointment with your assigned success coach as soon as you can. We have Eddie, Nahum, myself, and Jackie. Next slide. And then we have Stephanie, Joanna, and Shaquesta. And we're all, we basically cover specific programs, each of us. Next slide. And if you don't know who your coach is, it's totally okay, not a problem. You can jot down their email address from this presentation when we send it out, or you can always email or call our main line and we'll get you connected. And you can definitely follow us on social media as well. And I'm gonna pass it over to my lovely co-host Shaquesta, who's going to chat a minute about some of the amazing resources available that we think you'll all benefit from.
Well, thank you so very much, Janessa. Well, Panthers, it is poll time. So let us know how many of you have heard about Panther Den already. And we're going to give it a few more seconds. All right. Ooh, it's pretty even numbers. So we have a few that have heard about Panther Den, and you have a few that have never heard about Panther Den. So the cool thing about Panther Den is it's an engagement and support portal designed for the online student. So this online hub houses resources and information for our students who may inquire about or need additional support and services. So here you can find the different resources featured via Panther Den. So here, once you click on Panther Den, you see the different tiles here that we have: Disability Resource Center, the Career and Talent Development, the Pride Center, we have tutoring. We also have the Office of Social Justice and Inclusion. And the tab that we're going to click on tonight is the FIU Online Success Coach Team and Welcome Kit tile. So you've heard much about, so much about the success team and what we do, but here on this particular page, you will actually be able to meet your particular coach. You could be able to schedule an appointment, complete a success plan, a success guide, have exclusive downloads, free software, Panther swag, as well as you'll be able to see some of the testimonials from Panthers who are online just like you. So now we're going to go to the Health and Wellness tab, which features the Counseling and Psychological Services Department, which is better known as CAPS. So here's another poll. Now that you know about Panther Den, which feature are you most excited about? All right, a few more seconds. Okay. All right, so we have it's a tie between the Career and Talent Development as well as all of it. So here joining us tonight for the CAPS department, we have Wendy Ordonez and Dr. Matthew Woodfork.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? All right. So we are here to present about the Counseling and Psychological Services and also a little bit more about student health and wellness. So I'm going to go ahead and let Dr. Woodford introduce himself, and then I'll jump into the presentation.
Thanks, Wendy. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Dr. Matthew Woodfork. I'm one of the psychologists at CAPS, and I co-coordinate our online services. So we've been working really closely with FIU Online to make sure that we can offer some great resources for you all. So really hoping that you find this informative tonight, and I'm gonna pass it back over to Wendy.
All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And we'll go into the presentation. All right, so we are gonna talk to you a little bit more about student health and wellness and what that is. And then Dr. Wilford is gonna talk specifically about the services that the Counseling Center offers to fully online students. We're also gonna have an opportunity to have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them on the QA section and we'll make sure to have those answers at the end of the presentation. I want to make sure that I am sharing my sound. All right, there we go. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is actually have a little bit of an interactive presentation. So I am asking that you please grab your phones and scan this screen. Or if you feel more comfortable, then you can also visit this website, menti.com, and then input the code that you have in the screen. And therefore we're gonna have a game and we'll see how you do and the questions that I have for you. So I'm gonna give you a couple seconds. I'm gonna change the screen to go to Mentimeter. All right, we have 15 people already signed up. I'm gonna give like 20 more seconds to see if anyone else wants to do it, and then we can start. Awesome. You feel free to join as if we start and you're still able to join, okay? Wonderful, let's start. If you answer fast, you get more points. So how much is it healthy is the first question. So look at your phone and then pick from what you have available there. So what is the healthy, like what does that mean? Or you have two different price, different dollar signs. One more second. All right, so we have different answers. The correct answer is $93.69. And this is something that you actually pay every semester, every time that you register for classes. This is part of your tuition. What is the healthy? Now you know, but moving forward, like every time that you register, you'll see that those are reflected. And this is used to cover a lot of different services that students have available to them, including obviously fully online students. This covers CAPS, the therapy, the individual group therapy that you can get. You also have consultations for nutrition and a lot of other stuff, but I'm not gonna tell you about that just yet. Let's go to the next question. How many dimensions of wellness are there? We have 7, 6, 9, or 5. 5 seconds to answer. Okay, so we have a little bit of different opinions here, but the correct answer is 9. Depending on what conceptual framework you take a look at, there are different opinions, but the one that we use at FIU is actually this one. We take into consideration things such as spiritual wellness, financial wellness, environmental, occupational, and social wellness. And basically student health and wellness, our department, the department that I belong to, is its aim is to be able to make you succeed. Basically at the end, like we want you to graduate and we want you to be successful in your careers. And therefore we know that you are a person that's multifaceted, right? And you consist of all of these different dimensions of wellness. And FIU has something to help you with each of these. Even if I don't talk about it today, know that there is a department at FIU, there is somewhere at FIU that can help you with each of these, all right? Today we'll focus more on the emotional one, but we also have some others that are physical as well. I love the little hearts, thank you for that. Okay, let's go to the next question. Which department does not belong to student health and wellness? Which one does not belong? We have CAPS, or Counseling and Psychological Services, the Dean of Students Office, Student Conduct and Academic Integrity, Social Work Department, Victim Empowerment Program, and the Healthy Living Program. Okay, so, wow. So only 3 people got the answer correctly. So I'm glad I'm doing this presentation. So yeah, all of these actually were listed, are part of student health and wellness, except social work, which belongs to the Stemple College of Public Health and Social Work. So that belongs as an academic department that belongs over there, even though we do hire social workers as part of our team, specifically the Victim Empowerment Program and the Counseling Center as well. So the Counseling Center will go in depth, but they provide counseling, obviously, in person, workshops, online, other online self-help tools. The Dean of Students Office helps students in distress. So if you are having trouble, let's say with housing, maybe a student has become homeless or something, they are able to provide a bunch of resources for the student to be able to get back on track. We also have in the Dean of Students Office, there's a referral form that you can fill out if you feel concerned about someone in your class, for example. We also have student conduct and academic integrity. That department is basically conduct. It used to be called student conduct, and they deal with anything that's discipline related. And if you have problems, let's say with cheating or something, that will be the department that will handle those issues. Then we have the Victim Empowerment Program, as I mentioned, is part of CAPS actually, and it focuses on sexual assault, relationship violence, stalking, all of those issues like threatened or actual violence is their specialty, but they do fall under CAPS. And lastly, the Healthy Living Program, we have they provide services to help reduce stress, and they have alternative therapies that you can take advantage of in a way that fits in your schedule and that is relevant and not necessarily using traditional Western medicine. So we'll take a look at more of that in a second, but I believe we have one more question. Which services are covered by the health fee students pay every semester? So I mentioned some of these already, so you should know some of the answers. Okay, all of the above. We have 16 participants, so that means that is it. And let's see who won. Magical Rhino was the winner. So congratulations, Magical Rhino, you were the most knowledgeable on student health and wellness. Let's go back to our presentation. So I wanted to just say this, no need to memorize things that I'm gonna discuss today, because guess what? Just as they show you a little bit early, Panther Den is there for you. So I'm gonna go back to that page, the Panther Den page, to showcase our services, right? Are you able to see it? Okay, in 1 second. All right, wonderful. So we're gonna go to the Student Health and Wellness tab. And you're gonna see here that we have things such as WellConnect. This is part of the counseling and psychological services that Dr. Wilfred is gonna talk about. We have healthy living offerings, such as dietitian consultations, sleep hygiene consultations, time management, stress management, nutrition coaching, and even the student clinics offer things like consultations, like telehealth therapy, telehealth services for colds. If you have a cough, if you're feeling like fatigue or have a headache, you're able to talk to a doctor or a nurse practitioner over the internet. We also have this here called Panther. It actually links to Panther Connect, and this is where you're gonna find a bunch of different events that you can take part of as a fully online student, including the workshops that CAPS puts together. So if you click on the Panther Connect on the CAPS event or the HLP pages, you're gonna see that it takes you to this platform again, Panther Connect, and you will be able to find all of this stuff that we have available for you. As you see, a lot of them are online, so you'll be able to look at the location and you can join on the date that's indicated on there. So I highly recommend that you take a look at this, because there's, as you see, many different topics that clinicians or health educators are they're hosting these talks for you. Okay. All right, so we go to the other self-help options. We have a cognito, screenings, financial wellness, time management, nutrition. We have some podcasts that you can take advantage of, like some clinicians that recorded themselves on different topics. We have videos that our health educators have put together as well. And finally, we have social media and health alerts that are related to the pandemic or maybe measles or cigarettes, etc. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. Don't forget to add your questions to the chat, please, because I'll be making sure that they get answered later on. So now we go to go.fiu.edu/counseling, which is where you're gonna find all of the different things that you can take advantage of as part of the counseling center. I'm going to give it over to Dr. Woodfork. Let me see. She's gonna talk about WellConnect, and we're gonna go over this page. Let me click on it. So I guess you wanna start here and then we'll go over some of the stuff.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Okay, so everybody, Wendy just mentioned the WellConnect resource. So we really want to emphasize this opportunity for you all to take advantage of additional counseling services that have meant, especially for the FIU or for the fully online students. Just so you're all aware, we try to continue to increase parity with our resources through the counseling center. So this is, I think, a really great thing that we really encourage you all to take advantage of. So what is WellConnect? You see some information here on the page. WellConnect is a pretty broad range of services, a great student life suite of resources, but we really want to highlight therapy opportunities for you here. So on the website, you can see a number there. And this is for any of you who want to engage with face-to-face counseling with a therapist, and particularly with someone that could even be within your area. Because we know that FIU online or fully online students can be everywhere within this country, if not beyond. So this resource will really help you get in touch with a therapist within your own area, even if you're outside of South Florida. So by calling that number, you would get in touch with WellConnect, and they would help you find a therapist within your area, hopefully to establish an appointment within a week's time. So that's a really great opportunity that wasn't really available a couple of years ago, but we've really been working with FIU online to find the best ways to meet your needs, particularly around mental health. So for those who...
Let me just show them just quickly here, because now I'm thinking that we're gonna go back to the other slide that belongs just to you. But we wanna mention that, again, you have the e-workshops here. You're gonna find that on Panther-Den. You're gonna find therapy assistance online on there as well. This is a platform of self-help modules that we have more than 150 of them on different topics like being mindful, stress relief, all kinds of stuff that you can join. You can simply, Dr. Wilford is gonna talk a little bit more about that. So I won't tell you much, but you also have Rio. That's another one that's self-help, online screenings to determine whether you're doing well or you may perhaps need some help, some assistance from a clinician or something. It will let you know. It won't diagnose you, but it will tell you like, hey, it's a good idea that you seek help according to the answers that you have provided. Okay. We have some trainings, podcasts, and CAPS talks and key wisdom. So now I'm so sorry, Dr. Wilford. Let me go back to your thing because I want to make sure that you cover the whole thing about WellConnect.
No problem. We got a jump start on it. So as I was mentioning, we really want to push the counseling resources here. We just showed you the number, and actually I'm going to go a little bit more into detail on that on the next slide. But as you can see here, in addition to counseling, you also have access to life coaching. You also have access to free consultations. All of these things, again, are at no additional costs. And consultations can include financial consultations with a certified financial expert, or a legal consultation, and with appropriate referrals as needed. In addition to those referrals and coaching and counseling, you also have access to online articles that can cover a range of mental health topics. In addition to that, you have some assessments. So for those of you who are not quite sure how you're feeling or what might be going on, there's some brief screeners in there that can give you some feedback regarding areas such as anxiety or depression or stress. And then finally, there are webinars that can cover a range of topics that are also really relevant, for students and student success. So if we go to the next slide, I'm going to pick up here where I was mentioning earlier, how do you actually start the service? How do you actually get in touch with a therapist? So I mentioned already the in-person option. Well, there's also an online counseling option. So as you see there, the website wellconnectforyou.com is where you will go, and you will be able to input your school code, which you see at the bottom, being FIU-STU. So in doing so, there directs you to the WellConnect website, and there's an option there for getting started with online therapy. And again, so depending on what your needs are, we know everybody may not necessarily be able to or interested in face-to-face counseling. And for a lot of folks, especially, within the remote environment and what's going on within, pandemic era, we know a lot of our students are a lot more comfortable with telehealth services. So online counseling is available for you there. And this can be done via video. They also have options for chat or text, as well as even phone consultation. And the services can be for crisis services, as well as for ongoing individual therapy, as well as family therapy. So again, this is a really great opportunity for any of you who maybe have been a bit reluctant or unsure about how you go about starting services. And if you're out of the area, if you have access to anybody within FIU, WellConnect is going to be a key resource for you in getting connected with a counselor, again, either in your area or online. So we can go to the next slide. And as I mentioned already, WellConnect will provide in-person video sessions, chat, text, and that 24/7 crisis support. So what else do you have outside of WellConnect? Well, there's a program called TAO. It stands for Therapy Assistance Online, something that we've been using within the Counseling Center since 2014. And we incorporate it in a number of different ways within student support. So we're going to show you a quick video that will help explain what the resource is, and then I'll go into a little more detail afterwards.
Could you use some help? In every life, there are good times and times when we struggle. Sometimes the struggles are more manageable, while other times it can feel as if we are drowning. Almost everyone will have times when they could use some help getting through the struggles. For those times, there's TAO. TAO is a completely private online library of behavioral health resources that includes interactive modules and practice tools to help you understand and manage how you feel, think, and act. You can learn stress management, mindfulness skills, problem solving, relationship skills, and strategies to avoid dwelling on your concerns and develop more helpful thinking patterns, and much more. How does TAO work? Step 1. Create a TAO account. All you need is your email and a password. Step 2. Log in. Then you can choose to enter a topic or concern you want to address, or use our screening instrument to explore what might be helpful. Step 3. The TAO system will suggest some sessions, practice tools, and mindfulness exercises that might be helpful. You can choose these or ask for more options. Step 4. Once you've made your selections, navigate to your dashboard. All of your sessions and tools will appear there. Click on a tool and it'll open. Work through the sessions at your own pace. As you work with your tools, the dashboard will display what is completed and what is on your to-do list. TAO also asks you to complete a progress measure each week. This allows you to see changes in how you're feeling and how your life is going. You'll find it really rewarding to see changes over time. Completing the instrument can also help TAO suggest other activities you might find helpful. Our goal at TAO is to help you to reach your goals at your pace with engaging and effective tools. Welcome to TAO.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about TAO on the next page. So as you all would have just heard, you get access to a lot of different cool content that spans a range of mental health concerns. So you see there, they have over 150 sessions that can focus on various mental health considerations, such as stress, anxiety, depression. If you have concerns around relationship health, communication, even pain management or substance-related concerns, there's something in there that'll likely cover what you're curious about. You also saw in that video that they do make a self-assessment screener available to you. So let's say you are someone that's not quite sure where you're starting or not quite sure what you're in need of, but you know that something's feeling a bit off, and you're needing some type of support or education. You can plug in just different key terms, and it'll provide you with an output of options for you to learn about. Within the TAL, you also get to learn skills and strategies. So they really constructed this in a way that it's not meant to be very rote, not just looking at paragraphs of text all day, but rather you're meant to be watching some videos that may highlight some of the concepts you really want to learn about, or highlighting some of the issues that you find yourself struggling with. There'll be some reflective questions or exercises that will help you actually type in responses to some of the material that you're learning about so that you can start rehearsing and practicing how these things might apply to your own life. And we know that practice and repetition is key when it comes to making some of these changes that we work with students on. In addition to those reflective questions, you also even have like journaling opportunities, and they're structured journaling based on the content that you're reviewing that will help you build some routines, build a framework for how to think about the issues or concerns that you're wanting to tackle. And so they're more readily accessible the more you use them and try them out. Mindfulness-based activities, that library is incredibly vast. I know they've continued to add to it over the years. I think it started somewhere with about maybe 5 or 10 mindfulness-based activities, and now they've got somewhere around like 50 or so. So there's something in there for everybody, more than likely. And then lastly, you see there are some progress measures that will help you track how you're doing. And we know when we get that feedback, whether it be in the therapy that we work with students, or if it's on your own, through a self-directed activity, it helps you get input on how you are doing, what's working, what's not really working so much, and allows you to make some informed decisions about how to better take care of yourself through the course of using TAL. So here's a great opportunity for any of you who've had any questions, about some of the information that Wendy and I shared regarding services that are available to you. Definitely, please don't hesitate to shoot any of them out now in the chat. We're here to answer any questions you may have. And so we're going to give some folks an opportunity to do so. I'm not sure if I've seen any.
Yeah, Dr. Woodford, we already have a couple of them on the question and answer section. So the first one is, are counseling sessions unlimited?
Are they unlimited? Very good question. So as I mentioned, you have access to WellConnect. So although it's not unlimited as far as the number of sessions you can have per se, it is unlimited regarding how many different concerns or issues you want to work on with the therapist. So you will have up to 4 sessions per concern that you bring to the therapy there. And so that may be a situation where you were initially wanting to work on maybe academic stress or work-life balance, and you are making some considerable progress there with your therapist, and you feel like you've gotten what you needed within those 4 sessions. If you'd like to pivot to another issue or a concern that maybe is troubling you, you can do so with that same therapist. And so you get the opportunity to work with the same person, again, up to 4 sessions per concern. And if there's a need, just like in any form of therapy, for you to have like additional services, or if there's something that needs to be offered beyond what that therapist can provide, they work with you to get in touch with the appropriate referrals. So really great question.
All right, the next one is, why is it so important for us students to have access to counseling, especially in this day and age?
So that's another good question. I think I had some conversations with colleagues, and we even did a recent IG Live with one of the campus departments that touched on this. And so if we think about first just the basis, why is the mental health important? And we know that can be defined across a number of different ways across different cultures and communities who may not always use the same terminology. We know that just health and wellness is going to be really important and critical for us to pay attention to. And so part of our health and wellness will include, our mind, our psychological welfare and being. Nowadays, it's particularly helpful and important because we know we're all living in the era of unfortunately, COVID pandemic. And so with that reality comes some additional strains that may start to create some concerns or issues for us that did not exist prior, as well as perhaps kind of amplify or worsen some pre-existing issues or concerns that we were already dealing with. So when we recognize these realities, we can know that it's very important for us to attend to our welfare, our well-being, listen to our bodies, but not only our bodies, listen to our minds, and seek appropriate resources or support when needed. So that might mean going to your Panther success coaches, or that might be reaching out to WellConnect or TAO, or even calling some of the counseling center for additional support or direction. But it's important to know that there are resources available to you through FIU. And I always tell folks, in addition to the counseling, people are pretty resourceful. So recognizing that you have perhaps qualities or skills from access to people or communities that are going to be really important for you to stay in touch with. And so these services that we're discussing today just build on top of hopefully what you already recognize you have.
All right, so the next question is, who will find out if I'm seeking mental health services?
All right, so nobody will find out, particularly if you are not a minority, that being 17 or younger. If you are adult status, 18 and up, everything is confidential. I used to tell folks, the president can come to our office and say, okay, we want to see Wendy's file, and unless it meets criteria for certain limitations to confidentiality, that being if there's any imminent harm, to you or someone else, if there's any abuse or neglect or suspected abuse or neglect to children, persons with disabilities, or the elderly, even if it happened in the past, or lastly, if there is a court order. So aside from any of those conditions, everything is kept confidential. So again, it doesn't matter what position or role that person may have within or outside the university. If it's not meeting those categories, nobody will be able to access your information from therapy.
Okay, we have a couple more. What is the easiest way to schedule an in-person counseling session?
Okay, so the easiest way, if you recall, for WellConnect would be to call that number. In calling that number, you get to speak with a WellConnect representative who will talk to you about options within your area, and that will help find someone that will meet your therapy needs. And again, as I mentioned, they really try to help you schedule that appointment within a week's time, because they don't want to have, our students lingering or waiting, to be able to start services. So the best way to start in person, again, would be to call that number. I showed you again a school code that is more relevant for the online therapy. So you shouldn't necessarily have to be providing a school code, but that's there just in case. So you really should just be able to call that number and get set up.
All right, thank you. What about this one? Do these services also provide medication?
Okay, so this would be a situation where one of the WellConnect providers could provide a referral for a psychiatry, perhaps in your area, if you want it in person, or help you get in touch with online telehealth or psychiatry instead. So they don't necessarily have psychiatrists as the providers. Again, they focus more on the counseling and the therapy. But again, that's where those referrals come in to get you set up with additional resources or additional support services that may go outside of the counseling itself. So again, referrals are going to be available to you as well for those psychiatry needs.
Okay, the last question I have here is whether the person was going to be talking to other students when reaching out to WellConnect.
Okay. So no, you will not be talking to other students. Those are not the providers. All the providers are licensed clinicians. So that may include licensed psychologists, that may include licensed mental health counselors, that may also include licensed clinical social workers, based on what your needs or preferences are and who's within that network, perhaps within your area, again, assuming that you're wanting to have face-to-face. Again, online, there can be perhaps a greater range of options in some cases, because telehealth it's not necessarily physically restricted. You can do that as long as usually that clinician has license privileges within the state that you are living or residing and will be in for the therapy. So no student-to-student services. Again, it's all licensed professionals that will be providing that support for you. So really great questions, everyone.
Okay, wonderful. So I guess we can move on to the next thing. Any other comments that you want to say, Dr. Woodford?
No, again, we really want to emphasize the fact that you have these resources at your fingertips now. Definitely take advantage of them. If you have any questions, you can always contact us at the counseling center or reach out to your parental success coaches. You know, we'd all be more than willing to help you out and get you in touch with the right resource. So please don't hesitate to do so. It's a great opportunity to explore what you have here now.
Agreed. All right, so we have a raffle actually happening right now. And how we're gonna do this is that I'm gonna show you on the next screen the handles to our social media for the Counseling and Psychological Services Department. And so if you follow, I'm gonna pick the fifth person to follow, and they're gonna get a $10 Amazon gift card. And how we're gonna do this is that you're gonna provide me, I'm gonna call out the name. You're gonna provide me with your email address. Hopefully, if you have access to the chat, if not, put it on the Q&A. I'll make sure to get that, and then we'll send it to you digitally. All right. So I'm gonna show now. So if you follow, you have a chance to win. All right. We have, and please do it on Instagram because that's the place I have open. So the one that we use the most anyway. FIU_CAPS. So I'll give it a couple of seconds for it to load. All right, we have some people following. I am going to pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sammy Ness _ as _. So Sammy Ness, if you could please type your email address on the Q&A, and I'll make sure to get it so that I can send you the gift card via email. Okay. Congratulations. I'll pass it over now to Janessa.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for engaging. Those are such great questions. Thank you also for attending. Wendy, can you switch the slide, please? Thank you. I want to thank my co-host Shaquesta, Wendy, and Dr. Woodfork. We really hope you walked away with a better understanding of just one of the many amazing resources you have available here at FIU, and that you take advantage. Please make sure to fill out the survey that's going to be in the chat, and follow us on social media as well as the CAPS department. We're going to stay on for a few more minutes just in case you'd like to ask any other questions or wrap up the questions that are currently there. But if not, we hope that you have a beautiful night. Stay safe and take care. Bye, everyone. All right, it seems like we don't have any more questions. So I hope everyone has a beautiful evening, and we look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Bye.